Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Rotor Talk Live, Season 3, Episode 5, Zino2, Skydio 2, and FAA Remote ID. Marcus has the evening off tonight. He has been battling a cold and he's under weather. However, we have Mr. Ron Brown with us this evening, and we have Lauren all the way from nice and sunny Calgary. Am I wrong on that, Lauren?
It's a little cool, but other than that, yeah, it was pretty sunny today.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I won't tell you it was 77 degrees Fahrenheit down here in Florida today.
Oh, I'm glad you didn't.
Ron, how are you this evening?
I'm well, Bill. I'm feeling good, and it was a partly sunny, like 55 down here at the Jersey Shore, and we never get that weather in the beginning of February. So
wow.
We were blessed today, and I got out for a few minutes. I flew the Anafi for a few minutes today.
Oh, wow. Very good.
Yeah.
So you were able to get out and enjoy the day. That's fantastic. That's absolutely fantastic. Well, believe it or not, we do have a lot to talk about tonight. I know, there hasn't been a lot of stuff going on, but I managed to put together a pretty good show tonight. We have a lot to talk about. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And this just happens to be, to me, I don't know if the word bonehead would fit here or what. Pilot faces a year in federal prison for flying a drone during Super Bowl week, okay? As you are all aware of, the area around the stadium in Fort Lauderdale was a TFR. It was a no-fly zone, and it was, I believe, for several days before and I think a day after the Super Bowl. And a gentleman, Jorgen Orlando Ramos Terran of Weston could face up to 1 year in federal prison if he's convicted of flying his drone illegal in a no drone zone or TFR above Ocean Drive and A Street in South Beach in Miami, Florida. I want to read what he actually made said a statement. I want to see where that is.
Just wanted to catch some of the festivities.
Yeah, he said he wanted to catch some of the festivities there, and now it said the FBI wanted to capture some images of Super Bowl related festivities in South Beach. He's scheduled for his first appearance before a federal magistrate judge last Friday afternoon, and if convicted, he'd face up to 1 year in prison. And apparently, I guess the FBI has jurisdiction in this case, which is interesting. So, I gotta say, guys, I said that happens to be probably the idiot post of the week. I mean, how much more dumb can it get? You know what I'm saying?
Ironically, last week, remember, I was joking with you on last week's show. I said, Bill, are you going to drive down to the Super Bowl in Miami and fly your drone? And remember, we joked about it last week, I guess.
Yeah.
And some, I hate to classify, I won't say anything about the gentleman, but some, what do you call, misjudgment the gentleman did. Well, first of all, my first thought is, Bill, what kind of drone was he flying? Because correct me if I'm wrong, if he'd had a DJI, a modern day DJI series drone, that drone wouldn't have even taken off in the TFR, right?
I agree. Yeah, that's a great point, Ron. I would say, probably had an Evo. I mean, that's the drone that comes to mind. I mean, because that doesn't have any, geofencing on it.
Or an Anafi.
Yeah.
Or Zino, yeah. I mean, actually, anything but a DJI product, right? Am I correct in that? No other drone maker stops you from taking off in TFRs. Is that correct?
Yeah, none that I know of. DJI is the only one that's doing that.
Yeah. That's, and
we may see others follow suit, but who knows?
Well, I think, unfortunately, they're going to make an example of him because, they're going to come down on him. Whether I don't think he'll face a year in prison, but I think he's going to get a pretty hefty fine, which I think is justified in this case because this is broadcast, this is published, everybody knows about it. This is not a secret, and You know, it's like anytime the president comes down there, because Mar-a-Lago is down around that area. It's the same thing. It's a TFR, and if your drone goes up there, it's fair game. Okay, they're gonna find it, and they're gonna find you in short order. So that's just that's all I have to say on that. I just
one more about Bill, but do we know how he was caught, Bill? Was
no,
was he
that's
caught by a
real-
policeman, or was he reported by another citizen? Do we have any idea how he actually was?
No, and that's an interesting thing, Ron. You know, I think they probably have the FBI probably has some type of localized radar, you know, ground proximity kind of radar, because that would be the only way to be able to see something like that under 400 feet. Because you know, regular radar, you know, a lot of times when jets get below a certain threshold, they're landing at airports. It takes like their ground radar to be able to pick them up. So it had to take some kind of special radar to be able to find that.
Or again, maybe a policeman just saw it, or you know, maybe it wasn't even a FBI thing. Yeah, it's more to the story that we'll probably never find out. And not jump the subject, but did you see today? Drone DJ posted a story that in some airport, all air traffic was grounded today because pilots reported seeing drone activity.
I think it was in Madrid, Spain.
Madrid, Spain.
Yeah. That's wow.
Well, again, this is uncool. I mean, the pilots said they saw drones, but no drones were ever actually captured, or video evidence. There's no hard fact that these drones were there. I mean, I'm not saying they were or they weren't. I'm just saying right now it's just the pilot thought he saw some drones.
Well, we're going to kind of switch gears here just a little bit, and I'm definitely going to want Lauren's input on this here. I'm going to share this article now. I saw this article the other day, and it was out 4 days ago, and it was on Fox News. Are packages from coronavirus hit China safe to handle? I mean, you know, we're all waiting for our Zino2s, and you know, obviously DJI and other drone manufacturers from Shenzhen as well here. And the gist of the article said, okay, the virus on materials they ordered would not survive such a trip outside the body. We believe this virus only survives on an object minutes to an hour or so, not the days it takes your goods to travel the globe. VP of Foundation for Infectious Diseases. As always, after handling things, wash your hands before touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. And it says package from China takes at least 3 days to arrive in California. Hang on a second.
You want me to finish reading it, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
A package from China takes at least 3 days to arrive in California. The Denver Post, citing UPS and FedEx estimates, reported. Though scientists are still working to understand the novel virus, it is closely related to the SARS, which can live on surfaces for about 2 days, according to a 2003 University of Minnesota study. And we've even heard another scientist say it only can last on packages for 2 or 3 hours.
Okay. And you know, and that's why I wanted to go ahead and share this. What are your thoughts on that, Lauren?
Well, on that, I think it's kind of this area, you know, panic, fear mongering, stuff like that. And I agree that I don't think you're going to have an issue with a package that takes 2 or 3 days to arrive. And not only that, but DJI is more or less been shut down until the end of this month. And the latest news, they may extend that beyond the 10th to probably the 14th.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's kind of what I was gonna talk about that too, because you know, last we had heard they extended the New Year's holiday until I believe the 9th, and people were going to be back on the 10th. But from what you're saying, you know, they may extend it a little bit longer.
A lot of that is based on how things are unfolding over there. As they said, they're more or less want to try and ensure the safety of their employees.
Okay. Yeah. So, you know, this is something I think we should still probably be paying attention to. And I would say this, you know, You know, just be patient. That's going to be, you know, above and beyond this. You know, think about, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with all those affected, especially in China, you know, and it's spread to some other countries. I know it's here in the United States. And they had the first death reported outside China was in the Philippines recently. So again, you know, this is something I think we need to, you know, remember everyone in our thoughts and prayers. And hopefully this gets addressed and gets taken care of soon, not just for, you know, not just for getting goods from China, but just for health's sake, for everyone's sake. And, you know, again, you know, it's paramount. You know, it's why people are covering their faces with masks and, you know, good hand washing and sanitation practices. Okay. We're going to kind of move on here. Okay. And what we're going to do is, you know, there's not been a lot of what I would call good news or great news coming out lately, but we actually are getting some good news about the Zino2. It's actually gotten into the hands of several people. You know, they are receiving these packages, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, now this was from our friend Bermuda Bob. He got his. And this was from another gentleman who I subscribed to his channel. He did a real quick unboxing video with his phone, which was real interest, which was great. Now there also have been L3 Toys has been cranking out a lot of videos lately. Ron, I don't know if you saw the newest one up here, the Zino2 range, 8 kilometers. Did you see that one yet?
I did not get a chance to see it yet.
It's actually the colors in it are fantastic, and whoever the pilot is, he just pushes the outer edge of the envelope as far as battery life is concerned. You know, it forces itself to land because of the battery, so it's real interesting. But you know, one of the things that I did notice in this, and I really, you know, it's very good, is it really doesn't look like the horizon tilt issue is apparent in the last several videos that I've seen.
Well, Bill, even Blue Skyver, he on one of his recent videos, he said he did a firmware update that helped fix the tilted horizon, which it did in that video. And L3's horizon has always been better than Blue Skyver's, but if he performed the same horizon firmware update that Blue Skyver did, that probably accounts for it being, you know, much better here. And yeah, I you know, Blue Skyver's done a great job, but he's battling that snow and the dark days up in where he lives near Montreal, where, you know, L3 Toys, you know, actually, poor guy, even though he's where it's warm, he's been battling a lot of cloudy weather. But 2 videos ago, when he did the one where he was doing night and day, but the first scene where he takes off and you see his local flag and the colors and detail and the flag that's kind of close to the camera, you can see that this has potential to be a very nice camera, Bill.
Yeah, it really does look like that. Lauren, have you had a chance to look at any of these from the Zino?
The Zinos are a non-player up here in Canada. I know there's been a few businesses that have tried to sell them, and there was just no interest at all. So this is kind of out of my wheelhouse.
Okay. Ron, one of the things I really liked, and I don't know if you probably saw it on Blue Skyver's video, he fashioned some homemade landing gear. Did you see that?
I did, Bill. It was interesting that we have talked about the puzzle why he doesn't use a landing pad in that snow. We always see his camera landing and taking off in the snow. Well, he's like did the suspenders and belt in this video. He made the landing kit for it, which looked like he made it out of kind of toothpicks, or I mean, what do you call popsicle sticks? But then he also used the landing pad, so he really's got protection now.
Yeah, that, you know, it's so important, you know, and you know, as Rick Smith always says, it's so important to get that up, you know, whenever you're landing, because you don't want to get dust, dirt, debris, moisture inside the gimbal or the camera, and that he did a great job with that. I complimented on it. I said that was very ingenious. I think he said he came up with the idea and he did that on a previous drone and he applied it here, and he said the nice thing about using I think they were meat skewers, I don't know, but he said, they're very light in weight, so it's not going to add any kind of weight as far as the Zino2. So that was a good thing as well. One of the other things that I want to go ahead and share is this, and I know this was actually posted out on my Zino2 group, and this was from a gentleman who had contacted Gearbest customer service, and he wanted to know about the delay in shipping. And I'm not going to read you the whole thing. I'm going to go up, just read you the first little bit. There may be some delay in processing and shipping orders due to recent Chinese New Year's holidays extension. We'll be working around the clock to ship your item as soon as possible. We'll email you once it's sent out. Now, we apologize. The item listed below cannot be shipped out so fast. And it's talking about the Zino2. And then it gives him a couple of options here. Now, I didn't post it, but he did tell me he did get another response back. And he did say that they were talking about February 5th, which is tomorrow, which is real interesting considering they're not going to be back from their holiday till at least probably the 9th or the 10th. So, going to kind of stay tuned on this, and I thought that's kind of interesting. One of the things I wanted to ask you, Ron, was this. Most of these people that have gotten their Zino2s, I think they ordered them on like the 13th or the 14th, and I know you ordered yours on the 14th, right?
I believe I'm the 15th, but you bring up a good point, Bill. It doesn't seem like they're going out in order. People are customers. This is reviewers, just regular customers are receiving it, and then they're receiving it before people who ordered before they ordered. So your order date doesn't seem to be correlate with how it's being shipped out, which is, I guess, they never said they were going to do it that way, did they? But it seems kind of odd that they're not doing it that way.
Yeah, it's kind of reminiscent of Skydio because, there was no rhyme or reason with Skydio and how they shipped orders out. And it kind of seems the same way here with Gearbest. There's just like no rhyme, no reason. And, because I know that and I've seen and I've asked them in comments and they posted, it's either been the 13th or the 14th that they've ordered them on. So, that's something we're going to pay attention to.
Right. And I know somebody ordered on the 12th and they haven't received theirs yet. So
yeah, see there you go. So, it's like,
and you mentioned Skydio. Yeah, Skydio did have some oddities where somebody, that ordered later got theirs first. But for the most part, the Skydio ones, I hate to say the most part, but in a lot of cases, the order date actually correlated with where you got the email and the ship date. Again, with exceptions, but this Hubsan thing seems to be not the exception, almost the rule that there's no ship order based on order date. Which again, I don't know if they ever promised that, but it just kind of seems odd. And but like the good thing we said, regular customers are receiving. What I like is regular customers are receiving them, and they're not shipping all the early units out to reviewers.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing here. So it's kind of like, we'll just kind of like stay tuned on this and keep apprised of this, but it's good. It's actually getting in hands of people. And, and I've pinged several of them and I said, please, I don't know if they had YouTube channels or not. I said, let us know when you post some videos so we can be able to watch some of them because I'm real interested in, I know Blue Skyver has been consistent. L3 Toys has been consistent. But I'd like to see some from some of our other reviewers and get their take on things and to see how things are. So kind of stay tuned on that. It's exciting because, I think, we'll be seeing them sooner rather than later. Okay. March probably, but if it's any sooner, I think it's going to be a bonus as far as that's concerned. So, all right, we're going to kind of switch gears here. And, and I know Marcus, unfortunately, he's under the weather tonight, but and I know Lauren, you may know some about Skydio too, but what I kind of wanted to go over is this the first thing I wanted to talk about is everyone who has had a crash or some type of serious issue. Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong here, either one of you, Ron or Lauren. It seems Skydio's customer service has been on the spot and has replaced their drone. Am I right?
Billy and Michael Barrington have both had replacements.
Yeah, and I know there was
their big time YouTube channels are not having anything to do with it. I can't say, but they were replaced in I'm going to say quick fashion.
You know, and I know there was another gentleman early
Okay.
on. And I'm trying to remember his name. He was landing. He was getting ready to land his Skydio, and it just all of a sudden it just boom and dropped and pretty much disintegrated. They did the same thing for him. There was another gentleman. He was flying out of a dock on a lake. He was kind of doing like the selfie, the droney, and the gimbal was wobbling, and he sent the video into them and the data into them. They replaced it again. So I mean, I gotta hand it to them for their customer service. I think their customer service is very much spot on. Lauren, have you been following this at all?
Yeah, I was trying to get in there, get a word in edgewise, but yeah, you guys are right on top of it. Yeah, it's not unusual for a company like Skydio to be all over the customer service, especially at the beginning. The true test is going to be, will they keep this up in the long term? Because this is new product, they really can't afford any bad press, So they've got to ensure that they're covering everything as soon as they can.
Yeah, it's important, and we kind of talked about it a little bit last week when we were talking about the Evo and Autel. Every sale is important to them. Every sale is key for them, and I think I got to hand it to Skydio because they're staying on top of this situation. They're addressing it, and I wanted to get your input on this too, Ron. I know you used the beacon once, I believe, and you kind of meh were your results. Am I right on that?
Yes, I've only tried to beacon one time, and most of the issues are probably just me inexperienced. I mean, I did study Billy's video when I went out, but I had problems with it. I probably wasted half the battery just having it find me. Now, I've heard somebody say when it can't find you, hit the red button, but I didn't know that at the time. But I wasted half the battery before it finally found me, and then it did well. Except when I tried to land it, it didn't land like where I thought it was going to land. Again, these are mostly just probably user issues to me, and unlike I'm going to be the person that doesn't, nobody says this stuff, but I love the controller so much now that I haven't used the beacon again just because it works so darn well with that controller that, I don't have I don't have a bicycle, a motor bike, electric skateboard. I don't have anything anyways that, they're doing a great beacon following test on. So, I just prefer using the control, but I will use the beacon more once my weather gets better. Let me throw this in real fast. I noticed in Billy's video when he had a dump in the water on him, I noticed, right before it dumped in the water when it was caught in the trees that he went to retrieve it, you could see on his screen recording, it lost connection to the beacon right before it did that dump. And I have a feeling maybe that had something to do with it, that it said he probably is only connected to his phone at that point. And who knows, maybe he hit something on his phone that made it do that because he wasn't aware that the beacon wasn't connected. I'm just watched the video a couple times. Just a thought.
Yeah, I know. I same thing. Same here, Ron. I watched his video a couple of times as well, and I really couldn't see anything definitive as far as what this is, and
let me say real fast. But all I can say is, one time I was flying a Skydio and it was kind of too cold and I kept losing connection. I lost connection 3 times in a row. I mean, I'd fly 2 minutes, lose connection. It came back and perfectly was ready to land right over my head. It won't come all the way to the ground, so you have to bring it down to the last couple of feet. But it returned when it loses connection to the controller, at least. It returns right over your head perfectly every time.
That's good. That's real good. Well, I know Ken. Go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, Ron, I don't know if you've seen the latest update on Billy Kyle, but Skydio has evaluated his drone and said there was definitely an issue with the drone, so they're replacing it ASAP.
That's fantastic. That's definitely some great news. And like I said, I'm very impressed with their customer service, and I talked to a number of people now. Ron, I don't know if you know David Kluge. He had his accident down in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Are they sending him another one?
You know, I haven't been kept up on that story. I don't know. I hate to say one way or the other because I think I knew at one point, but I think I've forgotten.
Yeah, I know, because I regularly chat with him on Twitter, and I didn't hear the resolution of that. So I'm real interested to kind of find out to see if they replaced that as well too, because I know he was flying when it was kind of like near dusk, and a lot of people were saying they might not honor it because of that, but we'll find out as far as that's concerned. I'm pretty sure about that. I guess in the long run here, as far as Skydio is concerned, I'll call it growing pains. I don't know. I don't know what else to say here. I think one of the things we probably also have to realize too is, when we're looking at drones made over in China, and I'll say DJI, I'll even say Hubsan, I'll say Autel because I know they're all made there. They're done in a factory setting, and we got a glimpse of the factory setting once in that video that was accidentally taken from that Mavic Air. I think probably a lot of people saw that, and it's a very automated process. It's very, there is human intervention, but a lot of it's automated. With the Skydio, a lot of it is very human. It's very hands-on, which there's nothing wrong with that. However, they don't crank out the units, say like a DJI or a Hubsan or Autel or others do over in China, because they have the factories built for them. And, Skydio's factory is, it's one person after the next that are working on them individually at their stations, and just, getting parts and assembling them. So, it's a different kind of a process, but I think they're growing. I think they're evolving. I think they're learning. They're doing very well with their customer service. They're staying on top of things. They're looking at things. They've been very responsive. Now, a lot of you remember I had one on order and I canceled it, and I still feel that I made the right decision as far as canceling it is concerned. But, what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing them working with customers, taking care of them, addressing their needs, and getting back to them. I think one of the things that's really also impressed me too with Skydio is their response has not, it's not been like, oh, we'll get back to you later. They talk to you right then, right there. They address it. If we can't, give us the information, we'll look at it and we'll get back to you. And they do get back to you in short order, and which they did with Billy, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So, kudos to them for that. I think this is a good thing. We got much more to come on this, but, all in all, I think Skydio is doing a great job. I'm looking forward to seeing, some great things from them. What I've seen, the videos I've seen from them has been fantastic. I think the only weak point to me, and I know I talked to Ken Dono a little bit, Ron, is the controller. He wishes that they would have put a better controller together than the one they got from Parrot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a common complaint. I mean, I had the Parrot Anafi for, a year before I got the Skydio. So, I mean, I'm used to the controller, and I don't know if I think they mean everything, but, as far as the aerodynamics of it or whatever, I have no problems, but I could jump the controller to control. I know, the big DJI fanboys, they love that controller, and it's a great controller. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, I could jump to different controllers. It doesn't affect my flying that much, but I think, but maybe the big things, they think that the weak transmission signal of the Skydio is due to the controller, because the Anafi also doesn't have great signal strength and range. So they're blaming that in the controller. Now, I'm not an engineer enough to know if it is or it isn't or whatever. I know Michael Barrington has done mods to the Anafi style controller for the Skydio. And I think he's got some better range with it. But as far as from aerodynamics standpoint of using it, I have no problems with the sticks and the buttons, whatever. In fact, I like that little paddle wheel better than the spin wheel on the on most drones. So that's my 2 cents on it. But again, I probably fly more different types of drones than a lot of guys do who mostly fly DJI. So puts me in a different, kind of mindset.
Well, but the Skydio, everybody's got to remember this is kind of a new drone, and they're kind of taking it beyond what we normally know drones are. they're going to have a few glitches along the way, and I think a lot of those glitches could be fixed, with firmware updates. And, DJI tests their stuff, but they still find issues too. And why would you expect the same from Skydio or even Octel? The first ones out of the gate are not necessarily going to be the best.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we're gonna, we're gonna see some good things from Skydio. So kind of stay tuned from them. I know one of the other things that I want to wrap up was I do remember early on when Ken Dono was flying with Michael Barrington, and this was before they added telemetry onto the app, and Michael was actually doing a chase in his Mavic 2 Pro as Ken went out there, and Ken was trying to test the range, and this was before any mods or anything, and the range on the stock is just atrocious. He said it is just absolutely positively atrocious. So that's where we're at with that. Okay, we're going to kind of switch gears here a little bit. There has been some more talk regarding the FAA Remote ID. And one of the things that I wanted to go ahead and share, and I'll get it up on the screen right now, after delaying remote ID for drones 3 times, FAA denies request to extend commenting period. Now, there were a number of people who wrote the FAA in a letter, and this was from article from Joan DJ, and I'll definitely drop a link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check this out. You can see that there's quite a few people here. And what's real interesting is the Academy of Model Aeronautics, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, in here, the Vice President Advocacy and Safety Experimental Aircraft Association. They were asking for an extension for the commenting period for remote ID, and it was denied by the FAA. And what was interesting was, therefore, your request to extend the comment period from is denied. The comment period for NPRM closes on Monday, March 2nd, 2020. Brandon Roberts, Acting Executive Director, Office of Rulemaking. So, that's not going to happen. That's been kind of shut down as far as that's concerned. Now, the other thing that I wanted to share was this. Let me see if I can get this up on here. Okay. Right now, this is the section where all the comments are. And you can see right here, there's a number here, 8,994 people have commented on this, and results of 50 per page. And you can take a look, and some people have chosen to say anonymous for their last name, others haven't. And definitely excuse me, definitely kind of look at this at your leisure here. Now, one of the interesting things about all this, and this is kind of what I wanted to talk about, was the denial from the FAA on this extension here. Now, their purpose, and the organizations that asked for it, it's Academy of Model Aeronautics, the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association. It's real interesting to see who was asking for this extension, because I think they were starting a grassroots movement, if I'm not mistaken, to try to get hundreds, if not thousands of more people to be able to contribute on this. I'm interested to hear both of your guys' takes on this.
Actually, I'm rather pleased that there's only that many people responding so far. I would think that more people should be up in arms and writing. Either that, or they're giving it a lot of thought before they write something down.
Ron, what's your thoughts?
It's I don't really have a strong thought on this. I guess 3 months, 9 days is is a generous time period to comment. I guess they have a whole timeline. They probably had a comment process, and then they probably had another process, a timeline for them to process the actual comments and be able to learn anything from the comments or make any corrections to the proposed rules. So probably everything's on a timeline. So if they delayed if they extend the comment period, that would probably put every other piece of the puzzle on a delay. So I don't think this is to shut people up. I think 3 months was a generous time period. Believe me, I'm not back in the FFA. I'm not even totally on the FFA. I think this is being sent down from the politicians to the FFA. The politicians have been bought and sold by the big companies that plan on delivering things with the drones or whatever. I think the FFA is somewhat of a pawn in this whole mess. But anyhow, that's my thoughts, Bill.
Well, one of the things, and you guys know Brendan Schulman, he's the vice president of legal and policy affairs for DJI, and read his I'll call it his DJI's response to remote ID, and and I agree with basically what he said is that some form of remote ID is needed. However, what the federal government has proposed, basically experts are pretty much universally agreed that it's on paper it looks good, but in reality it will never work. It's just one of those type of things. I've even heard some other drone channels, and there's one that it's a large drone channel, and they have talk shows on quite a bit, and there's 2 gentlemen on there. They're even saying to the point that this what the FAA has proposed is illegal, that they can't do this because a lot of it talks about invasion of privacy. It's some people are saying agree with for law enforcement to have it is one thing, but for private citizens to have access to this data is another. And the way the system is set up, I heard a comment the other day. It's something like the CEO at Kitty Hawk is kind of licking his chops because it would just mean an incredible revenue stream for their company. That it would just come in, money would come in unabated to them. So
Bill, it's very likely that this proposal was not written by a member of the FFA. More likely, it's written by a Washington lobbyist, and that's why so much stuff in there that doesn't seem right because it's from somebody that doesn't know anything about drones, airplanes. It's just a suit who's a highly paid Washington lobbyist who wrote from no knowledge of aeronautics at all.
Yeah, I think it was hastily put together. It was done from the standpoint of a business type of a standpoint. Probably someone along the lines with Kitty Hawk or aligned with some services like that, because they're the ones that are going to end up making money in a deal like this. Is the way it's on paper right now, and the way it looks. So that's one of the things that I wanted to say. The other thing that I really wanted to comment on was the commenting period itself. Okay, it's officially less than a month right now. I personally think it's fine. I'm going to be spending some time probably in the next weekend or two typing mine up and getting it out. One of the things that I would advise against is going and using some of these templates that people are putting out there. I know the Academy of Model Aeronautics, which I'm a member of, has put several templates out there for their members to use, and they're encouraging them to use it, but encouraging them to personalize it as well. And I'm like, okay, if you're using a template with the same words but personalizing it, it's still a template. You're still basically using those kind of words. And I know the FAA is looking for things like that when they're looking through and reviewing through these comments. So, my word of caution with commenting is, try to avoid this. And the other thing that I would highly recommend when you're commenting is is to go ahead, don't, number one, a couple pieces of advice here. Don't go out there and say, this sucks. I don't want it. It'll prevent me from flying my drone. It'll ruin my hobby. Signed, John Doe. Okay. Don't go out there and say something like that. Do go out there and say, hi, my name is Bill, the drone reviewer. I have a drone channel. I try to educate people on aspects of not only as a hobbyist, but as professionals. I feel that remote ID is wrong because of, and then list some things out, kind of give some background to it, but don't give them a book. Okay. Because, that's the other thing that I think will kind of turn them off is if you go out there and you just start typing ad nauseum with this, it's gonna go. It's not gonna look good. It will absolutely, positively not look good at this. So,
my big question is, will they even read or do anything with these comments?
That's a good question, Ron. That's a very good question.
No, and I'm just saying that in jest. Go ahead and leave your comment exactly like Bill said. I just hope that when the comments come in, because I've read already some high percentage of these comments are negative or whatever to the new proposals, which we knew. But I mean, I just wonder how much that'll factor in. Like, well, if the comments are 90% negative to these new rules, will somebody actually say, okay, well, we've got to change all this stuff because look at all these comments, or will somebody go, well, yeah, they don't like it, but we're going to do it anyways. That's what I'm interested in, and I'm not saying one way or the other, but I'm hoping for the good comments, make them actually rethink this and back off a little bit. But maybe I'm being the optimist.
Yeah, I was wrong because we came up with me doing all the Canada over June last year, and we had a pretty long process at feedback. And they went out and had kind of town hall meetings throughout Canada, and I was part of that. And, I was actually very impressed with our new road laws, despite what some of the people might say, but we actually have better flying conditions now than what we did. And that was because they actually listen. Now, whether the FAA is going to listen to what is actually written into them, who knows? That's time will tell. But the thing being is to make your comments and make them understand that all the wonderful things you're doing with your drone that you won't be able to do if they implement.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that people need to be aware of, again, this isn't, whatever happens is not going to happen overnight. This is something that's going to take some time, probably like a minimum of 2 to 3 years. And personally, what I think is probably going to end up happening is something along the lines of what DJI has proposed, because, what Brendan Schulman had typed up, I really, really like. I think it's absolutely spot on. It leverages existing technology. It won't be a burden. See, the way the current rule is written, it's going to place a large part of the burden on the hobbyists and on the pilots. And the way the proposal from DJI, it's exactly the opposite. The burden is not on the pilots. The burden is equally shared, and you won't have to subscribe to a service. And I think that's important as well too. One of the other things that I kind of want to, touch on before we kind of wrap things up tonight, I know I saw some articles today about commercial drone delivery. And in fact, let me go ahead and I'm going to bring that article up here. It was on Drone DJ. Let me give me a second here and let me. FAA proposes to certify specific drones for package deliveries, and let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share that here.
Yeah, it's funny, when I read that article today, the first thing that kind of came to my mind was the fact that that's why the remote ID is coming in to make way for those.
And yeah, that's right. And you can see here, this is zip line, and there's a package with a parachute on it. On Monday,
Bill, is that my Zino2 getting delivered?
Could be, Ron. On Monday, the FAA proposed new safety standards for specific drones for package deliveries in the Federal Register. This move is seen as a crucial step in allowing routine package deliveries by drones in the not too distant future. The proposed certification of specific drone packages deliveries is a big win for companies like Wing Aviation, which is actually Google, Amazon, UPS, Zipline, and other companies that are looking to use drones to deliver packages. The proposal is the first time the FAA has presented a formal policy plan to make sure the drones used package deliveries will meet certain safety and airworthiness requirements. Similar to the FAA's, what we just talked about for remote ID for drones, the agency is requesting the public to provide feedback and comments on the proposal to certify specific drones for package deliveries on or before a March 4th deadline. The goal of this latest FAA proposal is to certify specific drones for parcel delivery as a special class of aircraft in similar ways as other manned aircraft, such as airliners, helicopters, and small private planes are treated. And I'll drop a link in the description for that. What are your thoughts on that, Ron?
Well, these rules may be good for the big delivery companies, but are these rules good for the hobbyist flyers like us, Bill?
That's where I think it's coming into play. It's because it's going to hit the hobbyists like us. It's gonna hit us square on. And when you and I want to go up and shoot a beach scene, or Lauren's out photographing some things out in the country and being able to catch some things, this is going to affect us. This is going to be
and it shouldn't really affect us because nobody's delivering a package at the beach or out in the country or the rural areas or whatever. We're being held down by rules that again and ranked the beach by the abandoned pier. There's no package ever going to be delivered there.
Yeah.
Most of us, I hate to say most of us, but a lot of us, we're not flying right in front of our houses where the package is going to be delivered. Unless I'm just testing something out. What kind of video am I going to get flying in front of my house? I probably have the, 1,000 clips of flying in front of my house. I don't fly in front of my house unless I'm just maybe testing something out real quick. So again, I don't fly where a package would be delivered. So, but these new rules for it's just more rules being put in for the big companies with the big lobbies. I'm sorry, I sound like a conspiracy theory guy here. Maybe I hope I'm wrong. Let's put it that way, Bill. And as far as Gump is saying, that's all I have to say on the subject.
What are your thoughts, Lauren?
Yeah, I totally agree with Ron. Like having this 24-hour communication when you're out in the middle of nowhere, that's absurd. It's absolutely crazy because even if you have communication, for what? You're the only person around for miles. Like, why would you need this?
Yeah.
Open centers, maybe, but realistically, most people are not flying in open centers. Let's be realistic. And last time I checked, nobody was dropping stuff on the doorstep out in the Rocky Mountains,
Yeah, definitely. Gentlemen, I think we're at the end here, and kind of want to go ahead and wrap things up. What we normally do, Lauren, you watch the show. Want to get some closing thoughts from Lauren first, and then Ron, and then I'll finish things out tonight.
I think there's a long route to go, and I'm really kind of disappointed the FAA with their timeline on trying to have people respond to it. It would be nice for them to extend it. And my honest opinion is big business is shutting it down so they can get in there too. That's my opinion. Ron?
Sounds good. Ron?
Again, we covered a lot of good topics tonight. The FFA stuff is always, kind of bad news, I think, for us, but we definitely need to stay on top of it and keep commenting, not only on the official FFA website for comments, but, on all your social media. Just keep pounding on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, any social media sites that, there's problems with these new FFA rules and they need to, adjust these. I mean, I realize we have to implement some type of new rules to allow this future, which is probably further off than they think with the package deliveries, but it has to be more workable for the hobbyists and also the commercial entities. And we covered the virus over in China, which is it's a very serious subject, well beyond drones. But I think when your Zino2 arrives, you don't have to worry about getting sick from it, from what all the experts told us. So, yeah, I just want to thank Lauren for being on with us tonight, sitting in for Marcus. It was great to have him on the show. We need to get him on back again, especially when he gets his mic set up going again. Apologies to the sound quality tonight, but don't worry, we'll get it fixed for the next episode. And Bill, just one last thing I want to present to you before we wrap out. I was watching a Super Bowl Sunday, and before the game started, they had the 100th greatest players of all time on that field. How is Terry Bradshaw not one of the 100th greatest players in NFL history?
I agree 100%, Ron. Yeah, 100%.
Do those 4 Super Bowls from the 70s not count anymore?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Well, what they had, Elway was there, Montana was there, Roger Staubach was there. Who were the other quarterbacks that were there? Dan Marino was there. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Okay, as great a quarterback as he was, he never won a Super Bowl. You know,
Brett Favre won one.
Brett Favre. I think Brady was there too.
Well, we're not going there as far as Super Bowls.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. we won't go
nobody, there. Brady. Yeah, I'm not knocking anybody that's sitting there. I'm just asking the question: if you're the same age as Bill and I, if you're in your 60s and you grew up watching the Steelers in the 70s, how is Terry Bradshaw? I mean, I know it was a different era. They ran the ball more, but in those big Super Bowls, especially the games where he beat like Dallas, when they beat Dallas twice Super Bowl, both those games, if it wouldn't have been a big Bradshaw to Swan pass in either games, they wouldn't have won those games.
Absolutely, yeah.
Bradshaw making the big plays to Swan in the Super Bowl that basically won 2 Super Bowls for the Steelers. Now they handled Minnesota easily, but even the Ram game, they needed stuff from it was Stallworth in that game.
Stallworth made those 2 catches. Yeah,
Bradshaw at the end of the game, the Stallworth. So it's not like they just showed up in these Super Bowls and they still curtain shut everybody out. Bradshaw made big plays in 3 of those 4 Super Bowls.
He did. And remember, this is in the days before there were offensive coordinators, calling the plays in their helmet. Bradshaw called all his own plays. I mean, it was straight up. It was 100% straight up about that.
It was no roughing the quarterback rule yet.
Oh yeah, that didn't exist. I mean, there were no, as somebody said, there were no skirts on the quarterback. So as far as that's concerned,
Jack Lambert said that. I think
Jack Lambert said that. Absolutely. I want to thank Lauren for stopping by tonight. As I said, Marcus was under the weather. We hope you're feeling better, Marcus. Thank you for letting me know. As far as that's concerned, we covered a lot of good topics tonight. We talked about the Zino2. And good news of some people getting them, and hopefully, we'll hear some news probably in the next week or 2. We're seeing a lot more videos coming out, which are great, and I'm anxious to see some more of those. We talked some more about Skydio too, and we got to take a look at some of the Ron from firsthand experience has talked about that. We've seen how good their customer service has been and how responsive they've been, and that's a great thing. We're real thankful about that. We finished up talking about FAA Remote ID. The extension was denied as far as that's concerned. But, the thing again is, please make sure you get out there and comment and, put it in some great wording of your own when you do that. So, with everything else is said, want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. And as always, it's a great day to fly. Take care, everybody.